Everyone. The Committee on Free Expression is called to order. My talking point, Sam, is supposed to ask Rachel if we have a quorum, but it sounds like to me she jumped the gun and already told me that we have a quorum. Is that correct?
Yes, Chair Arnold, we have a quorum.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to start by thanking all the committee members for joining us today, and thank you for reviewing and commenting on the report. We appreciate your help with this statutory duty. First, we will review and approve the minutes from last meeting, and then I will ask Sam Blevins from our office to review our open meeting law obligations, and then we will review our statutory charge and the report. So item number 1 on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Committee members received the minutes from the August 3rd, 2022 committee meeting. Are there any questions or comments from committee members about the minutes? Seeing none, I move that the Committee on Free Expression approve the minutes for August 3rd, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded, I think, by Art Lee. Is that right, Art?
Correct.
Thanks, Art. I appreciate your seconding my initial motion there.
Happy to help.
All those in favor of approving them, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain since I wasn't at the previous meeting.
All right, thank you, Tessa. We appreciate your comment. Motion carries with the abstention noted. Second, we will have a quick review of the open meeting law, make sure we all understand what our obligations are on that front. And I am going to ask Sam Blevins from our office to do that review. Sam.
Morning. The Free Expression Committee is a committee of the Board of Regents. As such, this committee is subject to Arizona's open meeting laws. This means all meetings of the Free Expression Committee must be public meetings where anyone can attend. Anyone can attend this virtually. Our meetings must have written minutes or a recording that's available within 3 working days of a meeting. Our meeting notices and agendas must be available and posted 24 hours before the meeting. And our agendas must list specific matters to be discussed, considered, and decided. And we can only discuss, consider, and decide what is listed on that agenda. We need a quorum of 8 or more committee members to meet or take any legal action. This also means that a quorum of this committee cannot engage in committee business if not in a public meeting. This includes communications via email. There are penalties for violating the open meeting law, which range from nullification of any action to civil penalties to removal from office. I would be happy to answer any questions that you have on the open meeting law.
Are there any questions from committee members for Sam on the open meeting law? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate your excellent and very brief review of open meeting law. Next, Sam's going to give us a brief update on our statutory charge regarding this report. Sam.
Arizona law requires that the Board of Regents have a committee on free expression that submits an annual report to the governor, the Speaker of the House, and the Senate President that describes barriers to or disruptions of free expression within the Arizona universities, describes the administrative handling and discipline related to barriers to or disruptions of free expression, describes any substantial difficulties, controversies, or successes in maintaining administrative and institutional neutrality, includes any assessments, criticisms, commendations, or recommendations that this committee decides to include in the report, and finally, an accounting of student activity fees used to support and facilitate the expression and activities of students or student organizations.
Any questions about our duties? Excellent. Okay, so our last thing we have to accomplish today is our statutory duty to review and submit a report. So Sam, do you want to give us a brief overview of the report, and then we'll open it up for discussions. You're welcome to suggest any changes or edits that you would like to see to the report. So Sam, go ahead.
Righty, the 2023 report discusses how protecting free speech and intellectual freedom is a bedrock principle at the universities. It lists that all 3 universities have highest green light rating from FIRE. It shows that all 3 universities have adopted the Chicago Statement and that each university has policies and procedures to encourage and protect all lawful speech, subject to reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions and other applicable laws. The report contains links to all of those policies. The report then highlights how each university promptly responds to allegations of barriers to and disruptions of protected speech in manners that comply with applicable law. The report emphasizes that implementing free speech in communities of thousands of students, faculty, and community members can sometimes produce strong and varied emotions. And our universities did experience several of those interactions that the report goes through. But it highlights that even in moments of heightened conflict, our universities encourage free expression of all viewpoints within established restrictions. So ASU speaks on reports regarding individuals citing for trespassing in connection with expressive activity. And ASU notes that the trespassing citation arose not from the expressive activity, but from the individual's repeated refusal to relocate to from one of the limited campus locations that's reserved for the exclusive use of student organizations to an adjacent area that's open for unrestricted use. ASU also addressed a controversy regarding a February panel of speakers. The choice of speakers generated lots of attention both within and outside of the university, but the event was held without disruption, with hundreds in attendance in person and thousands attending live video stream. Although there was subsequent controversy where the donor who funded the program subsequently withdrew their funding, ASU is maintaining the speaker series and the classes delivered through the center and is conducting further review of the matter. NAU addresses any of its barriers or disruptions of free speech with its speech expression action knowledge team, which is 21 trained volunteers and the campus inclusion team who work together to ensure that all planned and reported and spontaneous expressions of speech are supported. And they had reported no barriers to or disruptions of free expression. The University of Arizona addressed that in April, the Center for Bioethical Reform was sponsored by and invited to campus by a University of Arizona student group to set up an anti-abortion display on the Tucson campus mall. That included volunteers passing out anti-abortion information and several large posters with graphic images. During the first day, several eggs were thrown at the center's volunteers and their display, resulting in 3 arrests by the University of Arizona Police Department. Additionally, there were some complaints that a volunteer with the center was making derogatory comments, and the center's organizers asked that volunteer to leave. The next day, another University of Arizona student organization held a counter demonstration to the continuing CBR display. Both the expressive activities of the center and the counter protests adhere to University of Arizona's processes for engaging in expressive activity, and the actions of those who did not follow those processes were promptly addressed. The report then highlights that the board of the university's promote diversity of thought. The board held its 4th Regents Cup in February. It's a tri-level university debate and speech event designed to encourage students in rigorous debate and public speaking. Students from all 3 universities took part in this debate, and the theme was liberty, prosperity, and the Constitution. The universities, all 3 of them, regularly host events that include many opposing viewpoints. ASU's materials during new student orientation includes a series of videos on campus free speech prepared by FIRE and by ASU. NAU's student handbook reaffirms its commitment to the First Amendment, and the resident life staff have annual training on how to address student expression. And NAU regularly provides training to student organizations hosting events on campus on the First Amendment, and it emphasizes free expression in student and family orientations. The University of Arizona continues its reviews of its administrative and institutional processes and considers how they may impact expresses activity, then addresses its concern. The University of Arizona was proud to be named the winner of the overall 2023 Regents Cup. And then finally, the report details the allocations of student fees as required by statute.
So is that it, Sam?
That is it. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments about the report? Sam, I did have a couple of minor edits. Generally, our reports include an about the Board of Regents in the opening page that was accidentally deleted in the version that went to the committee. So I would ask that we add that back, and that's really the only amendment that I would have. Any other amendments to the report? All right, thank you.
Sorry, John, I had one
Yes.
quick question. Is there a reason that we don't use the Oxford comma? The Board of Regents opposed to the Oxford comma? Because I would, as the legal writing professor.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. Dr. Dysart. We've gone back and forth on that in the board's office, and we typically follow AP style. And AP style has also gone back and forth on the use of the comma, and their current style says no. So that's what we adhere to. I myself I'm more supportive of the comma, but that is our communications team's purview.
We had a spirited debate about the Oxford comma in this report every year.
Every report we do, and I can never keep track because AP has gone back and forth on it. That's
I'm sure diverse viewpoints were considered and
Yes.
freely expressed
They
during
were,
those deliberations.
the other one is the use of the semicolon in a list of bullets, which they've also gone back and forth on. So that's thank you for that question. Any other questions? Seeing none, I move that we approve the proposed report with changes as discussed in this meeting and authorize Ms. Blevins to make some non-substantive changes in preparation for submission to the board for approval at its August 24th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any questions or comments from the committee members? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay.
Do I have a question from? No. And those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? All right, thank you. This concludes the Committee on Free Expression meeting. Again, let me thank you all for participating. As you're well aware, this is a critically important topic on our campuses. Free expression does create some controversy from time to time. Seems like this year was above average for the number of controversies we've had, which have been detailed in the report as explained by Ms. Blevins. I appreciate all of your universities working so hard to keep this value on our campuses. It is critical to our success and the success of our students. So thank you very much for your work on this front. And with that, we are adjourned.